Now, I looked at a discussion on the Guitar Players Facebook forum recently, and there was a question there. I think it was a bit of a let's see what we can stir up kind of statement. And it said, backing tracks, good, bad, acceptable, not acceptable, discuss, or thoughts, question mark. And it was like 1,500 responses. My opinion, and it was very polarised as well, my opinion is there's nothing wrong with them, and I'll explain. As a professional musician myself, as a musician whose first study was violin, I was playing in orchestras and playing the piano and doing all this stuff where it was literally all live. I thought, well, that's okay, that's great fun and that, and there's the sort of humanity, the human aspect to playing live and to interacting and to playing an ensemble is an amazing thing, and we should all do it. But backing tracks, let's consider why they exist. Well, they might exist, for example, if you're going and singing in a club somewhere and there's no band. You're not just going to go in there and sing something solo. That would just be daft, wouldn't it? You'd usually have a backing track, and it could be a commercial backing track, or it could be one you've made yourself. Now, if you've made them yourselves, I think they're even more acceptable than if you'd bought one. However, if you have bought backing tracks, they will have cost you a fair amount of money. So you've got to make that money back, and you are investing by buying those backing tracks. So for people to say, oh yeah, but it's cheap, it's not the same, should really consider the sort of the backstory. You can also have backing tracks in a venue where there are budgetary constraints. You know, if you're playing in a pub and they only afford 150 quid, you're not going to have a 4 or 5 piece band in there unless it's something that, unless it's just going out for a bit of beer money, where you have maybe a day job or whatever, or you just, you're out and about and you just want to play. For the rest of us, where music is a full-time activity, you've got to really think about how you can maximise your earnings but still deliver something that is live. Anyone who plays with a backing track is still playing live. You're not going to get a gig with a backing track and then send a DVD to the pub with your live performance on it for them to play on the telly. That's not going to work. We all know, it's ridiculous. There also would be a space constraint sometimes. If you're in a small cafe or a restaurant and somebody's hired you for live music, which is great, that's lovely. I really like that, though people think about something a bit different in their restaurant rather than just the speakers in the corner playing some music. They're going to want to have somebody who is just going to melt into the background or be able to just sit in a corner, maybe next to where the kitchen door is or the entrance or something. People coming in, there's somebody playing the violin. Oh, how lovely. Let's sit down for a drink and have a listen to the music. There's also the volume control aspect. Now, it only takes one musician in a band to have absolutely no awareness of their own volume, and that's it, you've had it. You could be really or looking around and people are going, or more often than not, that. Because one of the members of the band just doesn't get it. And so backing tracks is the perfect solution for that. If you're a solo musician and you want to go out and play, but you have that awareness of volume, it's either backing tracks or a very difficult and sympathetic discussion with the member of the band who can't play at an acceptable volume level or brings an amp that is bigger than everyone else's. So there are many, many reasons why backing tracks, I think, are really acceptable. My brother and I used to do a duo gig where we would record our own backing tracks at home, record in the studio. My brother would record the drums, I would do all the keyboard parts, and then we would go out with a guitar and a bass and a couple of mics through a PA system with our mini disc recorder. Those were the days. With our backing tracks on. And they were great fun because every gig we do, we did a pub quite frequently. And somebody would come up and say, can you do X, Y, and Z? And it would usually be, the most way out requests. You know, we did the Flash Gordon theme tune with all the dialogue from the film. You know, it's just, you know, it's a bit weird, but we got a bit of a name for ourselves as being the ones who were a bit weird. But it was still backing tracks, you know. But there was always a live element. There was always the show aspect to it as well. And the other thing with, you know, with the low key thing is that people think that because you're doing something to backing tracks that you're somehow cheaper and therefore you can be, you know, you're more often than not ignored, or, you know, you just, you know, especially if you're on your own, it can be a bit lonely if you're in a restaurant and nobody's really paying you any attention. But they are. You will have somebody who walks past you to go to the bar or, you know, go to the toilets or whatever. And they will always stop, either when they come back or on their way, and they'll ask you if you can play a particular song. And you try and obviously honour their request, or you say, oh, I'm not sure I know that one, but I know this one. Like, oh, yeah, I like that one, thank you very much. And they'll be listening for a bit. Doesn't mean that they only listen for that 2 minutes. Very often people will come up at the end and say, oh, thank you very much, I really enjoyed that music, have you got a card? You know, and this is the person that you saw talking to their partner across the table and not even looking at you. So, you know, people do listen. And if the backing tracks are higher quality, the chances are they might ask you, oh, I really like your tracks as well. Where did you get those? Or did you make those yourself? And you know, it's just another aspect of music. I don't see, there are people that say, oh, keep music live. You know, that's the strapline of the Musicians Union, of which I'm a member, keep music live. And yes, of course, it has to be live. But these same people who really carry the Keep Music Live torch will then have a record collection, you know, 300 records or something. You think, okay, well, that's not live. You know, it's played, it's you stick it on your turntable and you listen to it. It's fine. Backing tracks are fine. Don't let anyone tell you that they're not, because more often than not, they could be bitter musicians themselves who are out of work. They might be a musician who is a supporting musician, a bass player, for example, or drummer. It's fine. It's fine. There are reasons why we use backing tracks, and it's multifaceted. So we really need to look into the sort of look in depth to the sort of live music and work out why it is that we use backing tracks or we don't. So there we go. There's my take on it. Enjoy what you do.